At 10K Elite, we have a simple way of the customer journey. And this way is stranger to customer to repeat buyer, and repeat buyer to super fan. So our approach to the customer journey has only 4 steps. And today we'll be covering the last two part of this 4 step. So today is about how to turn a customer into a repeat buyer, and how to turn that repeat buyer into a super fan. So that is all this session is about. And the reason we have this 4 step customer journey is that it is the simplest way to turn someone who has never heard about your brand into a raving customers. So through those 4 steps, it is very easy for you to turn someone who had no idea about your brand into someone who raves about your brand. So that is what today is about. Now, welcome to Elite Experience Podcast. This is the email edition, and in this edition, I share the latest in how you can turn your email experiences into elite experiences so that they engage with your subscriber more, and at the end of the day, they result in more conversions for your brand. So that is what this session is about, and everything here is based on Eros, So Eros is elite revenue optimization system that we are currently using to optimize revenue for our clients who are skincare, DTC brands, and on the other side, we also have non-profit. And now, I'm your host, Samuel Kim, the founder and CEO of Fanicare Elite. Fanicare Elite is an agency which does only one thing, and that one thing is optimizing revenue for skincare DTC brands and non-profit using the Eros. Using Eros. So Eros is a elite revenue optimization system. Now back to the customer journey, and now the last part. So this is the part where we turn a customer into a repeat buyer, and then we turn that repeat buyer into a super fan for the brand. Now there are 5 reasons that influences a buyer, so that makes a customer to buy again and again and again. And now we'll be covering these 5 reasons in this session today. So the first reason now, the first reason is the first reason that someone buys your product again and again and again is that your product alleviates a pain point. So what this means is that your product solves a problem that is currently nagging your buyer. And now this one now is about what your product does for your customer. And now the way you look at this is that this is a very practical way of building your brand trust. Now, for example, if your customer has face blemishes, so maybe they have face blemishes on their face, and this is giving them trouble because now they cannot show up confidently when they show up at their job. And now your product comes in and remove these face blemishes. And now by doing that now, your brand solves these customers the confident issue. So when your brand does that now, your brand has alleviated the pain point for your customer. Now, when this happens, now your customer sees your product as very reliable because now it solves their problem. And now, when this happens, it makes that customer to buy your product again and again and again. And sometimes, even if that problem is solved, you may have another product that will be solving another problem for that customer. So it opens up a new world for your brand to solve your customer's problem. So that is the first way. The second way, now this one is an upgrade on the first way. So the second way is about the, your brand delivering on your promise or over delivering on your promise. So this one now, as I already mentioned, is tied to the first reason. And now this one is more about the promises that you make to your customers. So these are the promises you make in your ads, the promises you make in your emails, promises you make in on your landing page, promises you make on your website, product description page. So the question is, do you deliver on these promises that you are making to your customers? And now what we have noticed is that for the brands that deliver on their promise, so for instance, let's say that we are back to the first blemishes and now you promise your customer that in 30 days their, their first blemishes will be exterminated completely. So when you deliver on that promise and now 30 days later after someone buys your product, after your customer buys your product and now they realize that, oh, my face no longer has blemishes. So when they realize that, it creates this loyalty to your brand that make that customer to buy from your brand again and again and again. And this is all because you deliver on your promise. So this one is more about the way you apply this is that you only make promises that you are sure that you can deliver on. So don't make any promises which you're not sure that will be deliver on. Because now that will end up breaking the trust that your customer has with your brand. Now, around to our third way. So the third way is this one now. This one is very crucial. Now, Heroes is based on this one now. And now the third way is about your brand delivering an exceptional customer experience. So this one now ties in every way before a customer buys your product and after a customer buys your product. And now this one now is more about how you make your customer feel. So as you know, someone will not remember what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And now your customer experience goes even one more step further than what your product will ever do for your customer because now your customer experience will leave them with a feeling of either, wow, this brand is amazing or ah, I don't want to anything to do with this brand ever again. So that is what this fourth reason is about. And now this one is at three levels to it. So the first level is before one becomes your customer, or even before one makes the next purchase. So before one becomes your customer. So this one is about how you address objections, how you address questions that the customer has, how you how you how you how you make promises to your customers, and also this one is also in terms of how you engage with your customers. So before now they even buy the product. So this one is in terms of your abandonment flow. Like if someone abandons browsing your products, if someone abandons the cart, if someone abandons the checkout, how do you go about that? Like how do you come back to them to tell them that hey, there's something you forgot here and and now you ask them to complete that purchase. So this one is about what happens before someone buys your product, and now how you make someone feel in this at this level is very important because it will determine whether someone buys your product or not. The second level is when someone is now purchasing your product. So this is when now they are going about buying your product. So the question here is your purchase experience easy and seamless? So do you give your customer trouble when they are buying your product? So when they reach the checkout page, do they realize that there have been more costs added to the product? Do they realize that a shipping fee has been added that was not mentioned anywhere? So this one is more about what you do before the one get to the before one get to the checkout, and also during the checkout now, like how is it like? Do you make it easy for them? Do you make it easy for them to buy your product, like the payment options that you provide for your customer? So that's what this one is about. And now the question here is your purchase experience easy and seamless? Now, the third level, this one is after someone has bought your product. So this one now is in what happens after someone buys your product. So do you confirm the purchase immediately? Do you enable your customer to track their product to see when it will be coming, and now how they can make sure that will be getting the product? What happens if the product is not what they expected it to be, or it doesn't do what they expected to be? Like what happens if they want to return the product? Do you make it easy for your customer to return your product? And also, the other thing is about your welcome. So this is more about your welcome flow. So how do you make your customer welcome to your brand after they made the hard purchase? And now this one now goes a very long way, because now if you make it on these three levels that I mentioned, if you nail all these three levels, this makes sure that your customer buys from your brand again and again and again. So that is the third reason. Now we are on to a fourth reason. A fourth reason is that the reason your customer buys from your brand again and again and again is that your brand your brand values are aligned with your customer's values. So if they are aligned, your customer will buy from your brand again and again and again. And now this one is especially true if your ideal customer is a millennial or a Gen Z, or someone who is impact conscious. So for someone who is about changing the world, when you tell them when you show them your brand value. So your brand values, this is about the causes that you support as a brand, the causes that you stand for, and now the causes that you partner with. So, for example, if are a skincare brand and you partner with a nonprofit, which serves a segment of the population that has skin cancer patients, you should mention it to your customers so that they know that you support this, that so that they know that buying your product is a way of supporting these skin cancer patients. And also from time to time, you can ask your customers to donate, or you can tell them that if they donate a certain amount of your products, they will donate such an amount of specific amount to that cause on behalf of them. So this one is more about when you are talking to Gen Zs, when you are talking to millennials, when you have a customer who is impact conscious, This one is about showing them that there's something that we stand for in the world. And now for millennials, Gen Zs, and impact conscious customers, when you show that when you stand for something as a brand, when you stand for a specific cause, your brand resonates with these customers in ways that you can never even imagine. So that is our first point, and it is your values are aligned with your customers' values, especially if your customer is a Gen Z, your customer is a millennial, or your customer is impact conscious. Now we are on to our fifth and final reason. Our fifth reason is about our fifth reason. This one is about our fifth reason is about the fifth reason is about how you how you handle things as a brand. So our fifth reason now, this one is how you handle things. And now for this one now, this one is more about how you how you show up for your customer. So this one now is mostly about the no, sorry, not how you show up for your brands. Our fifth reason is about the container you create for your customer. So this one is more about the community that you build for your customer. And now what you want to do is that you want your customer to feel that I have people surrounded me who are just like me. So this is what the fifth reason is about. So it's about creating a community that your customer feels that they belong to. Now creating a community now, this one is this one is more about creating a space that your customer can interact with other customers so that they realize that they their values and what they stand for has similarities. So for example, if you are a skincare brand now, you can create a community that is about solving the skincare issues through ways that are not harming the environment. So this one is so for example you can say that your brand is sourcing product in such a way that it is sustainable for your environment. So this one is more about giving your customer a feeling of belonging and a feeling of status because they belong to something that not everyone else belong to. So this one is what this reason is about. Now, when one feels that your brand gives them this sense of belonging, this sense of status, it makes your customer buy your product again and again and again. All because when one looks at your product like a symbol of the communities that you have created. So your product now becomes a symbol, a physical symbol for your customer to express that I belong to this brand. This is a status that I have with this brand, and this is what I stand for as a person. So that is what this fifth reason is about. So it's about building a community, like building a community for your customers, so that your customer feels part of this community. And now by feeling that now, it creates a situation whereby it is very easy for them to buy your product again and again and again, all because your product it's a physical symbol of the community that your brand stands for. So those are the 5 reasons that your customer will buy from your brand again and again and again. So the first one is that your product alleviates pain point. The second one is that your brand delivers on its promises or over delivers on its promises. The third one, the third reason is that your customer experience is exceptional. The fourth reason is that your brand values align with your customer's brand values, especially if your customer is a millennial, your customer is a Gen Z, or your customer is impact conscious. And now the fifth reason is that fifth reason that your customer will buy from your brand again and again and again is because one feels a part of a community, and now your product becomes a physical symbol of that community. So those are the 5 reasons that a customer will buy from a brand again and again and again. So today my question for you is that which of these 5 reasons resonated with you? So let me know in the comments below. So the other thing is that I'll see you next week. So bye bye. Carpe diem.